Let me hear that again, Francis Patton, because you're the farthest out, right? Come on, let me hear it again. Are you excited? All right, okay. And, all right, now, St. David's Primary. You guys have the biggest group, so I don't know if it was fair, but obviously you was the loudest, so. All right, we're ready. Today is, what's today? It's World Poetry Day. Let's hear it. It's World Poetry Day today. All right. And so we're going to be... It's World Poetry Day. And so because of that, St. George's, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, holds UNESCO World Poetry Day on the 21st. And the illustrious George Darrell III is going to give us a few our illustrious mayor, George Darrell III, is going to give us some opening remarks. Can you guys put your hands together for him? Louder than that, come on, he deserves it. He's the mayor. Think of him, maybe. Listen up, guys. He's welcoming you.
A poem entitled Self-Pity by D.H. Lawrence. I never saw a wild thing sorry for itself. A bird will fall dead, frozen from a bough, without ever having felt sorry for itself. Senator Owen Darrell, JP, ladies, gentlemen, and of course, boys and girls. On behalf of the Corporation of St. George and the community of St. George, I want to welcome you to our annual World Poetry Day event. In 2016, under the auspices of former Mayor Francis, Corporation of St. George began to celebrate some UNESCO designated days. Two specific ones were chosen, Poetry Day and Teachers Day, so that we could honor our youth, our future, and the people who will inspire and cultivate our youth, their teachers. World Poetry Day was first adopted during the 30th UNESCO General Conference in Paris, 1999. The aim is to support linguistic diversity through poetic expressions and increase the opportunity for endangered languages to be heard. World Poetry Day is the occasion to honor poets, revive oral traditions of poetry, recitals, promote the reading, and other arts such as theater, dance, music, and painting, and raise the visibility of poetry in the media. As poetry continues to bring people together across continents, all are invited to join in. Before we proceed with the event, I would like to read the following proclamation to start the event. World Poetry Day, March 21st, 2022. Whereas we recognize the cultural importance of language and literacy as primary means of conveying knowledge, and whereas that literature is defined as words raised to an art form, and whereas we acknowledge that poetry is amongst the oldest forms of literature and that is aims to express humankind's greatest hopes, fears, loves, and dreams, and whereas we understand that literacy is nurtured by sharing and promotion of all forms of literature, and whereas the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has declared observance of World Poetry Day on March 21st every year, and whereas we encourage our citizens to enrich themselves through partaking in all forms of culture, we support the idea of promoting literature and especially poetry in our community. Now, therefore, I, George Dowling III, JP, Mayor of the Town of St. George, do hereby proclaim March 21st as World Poetry Day in the Town of St. George. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Darrell. And now we're gonna hear some remarks from Senator Owen Darrell, JP. Put your hands together for Mr. Senator Darrell.
Good afternoon, everyone. To the Mayor of St. George, thank you for inviting me to your town today. To Bermuda's school children, welcome. To all educators, thank you for the job that you do. And to all guests, thanks for coming. In the west, a line of silver seemed from the darkness to emerge, like the gleaming sword of Arizel on the dim horizon's verge. Deep and deeper frowned the darkness. Whiter grew the line of fear. All that gazed knew well the omen, knew the hurricane was near. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Minister of Education, the Honorable Deidra, who could not make it today, to join in the UNESCO World Poetry Day celebrations. Thank you to Ms. Tammy Jones for the invitation to participate in this day. That reading came from a poem by Charles Swain called The Hurricane. Poetry is a beautiful language of words. Over the years, I've developed quite an interest in the works of poets such as the late Maya Angelou and others. It's fitting that we stand here today in the town of St. George, a UNESCO World Heritage Site designation, as we pay homage to the Bermuda heritage through the theme of deliverance, patience, sea venture, and hurricanes. As a former educator, and with lots of love for Bermuda history, I'm looking forward to hearing from the students' contributions from East End, St. David's, St. George's Prep, and Francis Patton schools. Without further delay, thank you and happy World Poetry Day.
All right, thank you, Senator Darrell. All right. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name's Deidra, and I'm here from the Chewstick Foundation. I'm a poet, and I'm very excited about Poetry Day. I think we got involved in 2016 from the first one in St. George's. But it's not about us. It's about the kids. So right now, please put your hands together and welcome the first group from East End Primary, who is going to be performing I Saw a Ship A-Sailing. I got a little taste of the poem, and I think you're gonna like it. So put your hands together for East End Primary.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, also, the theme for this year is the deliverance, patience, sea venture, and hurricanes. So if you note, there's a piece of artwork right here that's a ship. So that is also from East End Primary. So give them a little round of applause for some visual representation of the theme. All right, you guys are ready?
Yes.
All right. You want me to count you in? 1, 2, 3.
I saw a ship a-sailing on the sea, and it was full of pretty things for you and for me. There was sweetmeats in the cabin and apples in the hill. The sails are made of silk and the masts are made of gold. The 4 and 20 sailors had stood upon the deck. with 420 white mice with wings about their necks. The captain was a dog with a package on his back. When the ship began to move, the captain said, "Quack, quack!"
All right, round of applause for East End. And East End has 2 classes, so keep your round of applause going for East End again. All right. And big up for the teachers too. I saw the conducting going on. As Mayor Darrell said, World Poetry Day was first started in 1999 to uphold oral traditions and to just to celebrate uplifting cultures, especially those of like dying languages, so languages that might only exist in art. So, you know, these guys are really participating in that and keeping culture alive. So again, clap your hands for East End.
Come. Come down. Come down like this. Walk some. You first going to walk some. Oops. Come. Come without. Okay then. Come. Come.
Hurricanes by P4 Bregman. The hurricane hits. You close your blinds and board up your doors, trying to secure everything, hoping that it won't make a big mess. Hurricanes don't care about our request. The wind starts howling and the rain comes down. Lightning cracks the sky. The thunder roars. Some people scream and some cry. Soon you'll find yourself shopping at the store, buying canned goods, batteries, and more. Together with your family, you stay in a safe room. You fall asleep. When you wake, everything is calm. You venture outside. You're speechless. The hurricane has damaged trees, cars, your house. Things are rearranged, but with teamwork, we will shine again.
All right. Round of applause. Thank you.
The Great Storm, the Sea by Amelia. The Sea Venture was a 17th century English sailing ship, part of the third supply mission to Jamestown Colony that was wrecked in Bermuda. In 1609, the Sea Venture was flooded. Men and women were crying and screaming. The Sea Venture was rocking side to side. The water was very rough. The wind was rough too. When the Sea Venture was rocking side to side, they saw Bermuda. Some people came off the Sea Venture and went in the water. They made a good home in Bermuda. They managed the great storm. In 1609, the Devonshire was sailing across the ocean and a storm was heading their way. Waves were coming in the boat and the weather was getting worse and worse. Then they realized that there was a hole in the boat. The boat started to sink and the boat was flooding. Ladies were screaming and babies were crying. Men were trying to block the hole And when they were doing that, Sir George Summers was trying to steer the boat, but since the wind was so strong, he could not steer the boat. When everyone was going, so he had to let it take it anywhere. Then Sir George Summers saw land, and everyone realized was relieved that they thought they were going to die. They heard a noise, so men went to check it out. It and they came back screaming. They were actually hogs, but they didn't know that, so they called the island Devil's Island. Everyone wanted to go back to Jamestown, Virginia, but they started to make life in Bermuda. They planted food and made houses, and they made a ship called the Sea Venture. It took 14 days to make it. When they were done, they sailed to Jamestown, Virginia.
All right. Thank you, East End.
The Great Storm by Antonio Dowling. Sir Thomas Gage was sailing the boat called the Sea Venture in 1609. Happens to be at night time. Coming to Jamestown, but the waves were rough and the boat was tough. And they were throwing guns and tons of stuff. And at last they said, land. And that land was Bermuda. Also, no roads, just turrets and boats.
The Great Storm by Kiana Simmons. The boat tossed and turned from the storm. The people on board struggled to stay warm. Thunder rumbled and the sky was black. The rain poured down on everyone's back. Sir Thomas Gates and Admiral Sir George Somers were trying to steer the boat to safety. The sky rumbled and the boat tumbled. Everyone screamed and grumbled. Moms cried while Dad sighed. There was no food or water to eat or drink. The boat started to sink, while people started to think. But then a big thump, and the captain started to grunt. He announced land. Everyone rushed to stand. Hooray, hooray! What a small island! People were in so much joy, but they saw there were no people or wagons. The men were then called to side by Sir George Somers. I heard a noise in the trees. Could you three men go and see? The three men went and saw. It was nothing to be seen, except for an old oak tree that creaks and shrieks. So the men headed back to the pack. When they got back, the people said, what was it? The men said it was just an old oak tree. Okay, said a man, time to build again. After that, the people went to sleep. In the morning, people heard a sound, so they went and checked it out. They came back screaming. It was a monster, one of the men cried. Let me go and see. That person came back screaming loud as can be. You were right. I think we should leave. So they fixed the boat and went back home. And two men stayed there. Goodbye, they screamed, and off they go all the way back home.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
All right. Thank you, East End. Keep your applause going for East End. That's all right. We got a history lesson there too. Like I mentioned before, the theme today is the Deliverance, Patience, Sea Venture, and Hurricanes. And make some noise for the Corporation of St. George's for putting on this event. Yeah, and make some more noise because last year this was a virtual event, so we're back in person. We got to see each other. Yeah, make some noise. Come on. You guys are good. You guys are school kids. Make some noise. More than that. Come on, St. David's. All right, now put your hands together for Francis Patton, who are gonna give us some poetry. Remember, speaking to the mic, you guys. We want to hear all your wonderful original pieces. Come on, clap some more for Francis Patton. Give him some energy. Energy! All right.
You just say it. We are the primary four emoji achievers, and we pledge to be proactive, responsible, and determined to be a leader of excellence. We take initiative and show effort in everything that we do. Emoji achievers are kind, positive, and respectful to everyone. We come to school ready to learn every day. Yes, every day. We are the proud P4 emoji achievers. Watch us achieve. Watch us achieve. The Hurricane by Elani Sumner. Hurricane, hurricane, please go away. Come again, wait, don't come again. Running to the shop, gonna go get a mop. My dog is being messy, her name is Tessie. I better run or my life won't be fun. Flash, lightning, or is it the sun? Going here and going there, I'm everywhere. I'm going to the store because I want to shop some more, being all my clothes are torn, thanks to Tessie. Now another hurricane's here and it's spreading from ear to ear. Going to the shop from Elijah Smith. I'm going to the shop to get a mop. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to the shop to not get a mop because the hurricane is over, but I better stay here. I'm terrified. The power went out. The hurricane is over, but a tornado is coming. I heard a loud noise. Boom. I went outside. Oh no, my car, it's broken. The Dog in the Storm by Ariana Parra. It's gonna be a hurricane and I'm not scared. In the storm, I put on my radio. I look out my window and I see a dog. I must let it in. The storm is fog. Before this horrible hurricane, I bought some batteries, and that's when the storm was clattering. I also got some wood, and it's burning real good. You know that dog I was talking about? It's extremely loud, and I'm starting to think I should kick it out. But I hold on to it a little longer. Finally, the hurricane is over, so I take the dog to the adoption center. Bark, bark. Hurricane by Vanessa Steed. I hope the hurricane doesn't come our way. The waves are crashing up on the bay. Winds are blowing hard in the air. Time to get ready and prepare. Where's the list of what we need? Have it handy to succeed. Stores are crowded, traffic uproar. People in a rush to get in the store. Please bolt down your windows and doors. Be prepared and don't delay. Hurricane, hurricane, go away. Hurricane, hurricane, go away.
All right.
You see this? Abundance of food was on hand. You say English. Voyage of Terror on the Sea. E. English colony, Virginia, we soon would see. N. Natives attacked, we were on the run. T. The first boatload from the UK. U. Unexpectedly turned up to Bermuda. R. Challenging war and adventure. E. Eyewitness accounts, life on the sea venture. The sea venture.
All right, round of applause, Francis Patton. Then you guys feel, I feel honored. I'm learning about preparing for hurricanes, learning about the sea venture. I'm hearing some funny things about captains being ducks. All right, thank you so much, Francis Patton. And because you guys are the biggest group, St. David's, I'm gonna introduce you quick. So come on up. Oh, and they have props, you guys. Come on. Round of applause for St. David's Primary. Come on, energy.
Rush it.
Big thanks to J-Rock Communications as well. We're going to be, Spanish Town. Sorry. Yeah, J-Rock Communications and Spanish Town for doing this setup. The weather was sketchy earlier today, so they did a quick move over to the rain. And round of applause also for Tammy, who's been working very hard to get this. When I say round of applause, you know what that means? All right. All right, St. David's, take it. Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right, St. David's, take it away.
Hurricane, shut the windows, bolt the doors. Big rain is coming across the shore. Neighbors are whispering, dark clouds are gathering. Big rain is coming across the shore. Gather the clothes on, pull down the blinds. Big wind is blowing across the shore. Branches are falling, raindrops are flying, treetops are swaying, people are running. Big wind is blowing. A hurricane across the shore.
All right. We got palm trees, rain, wind. Wow. So yeah, well, I don't know. I'm really liking this. You guys took the theme of hurricanes and ran with it.
You guys are in the middle. Oh, yeah,
Let's say poetry on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Louder than that. Poetry. All right, you guys.
Take your glass and roll it on your chin. Thank you. On three, the name that 1, 2, 3.
Tale of the Ships. In 1609, the history of Bermuda, the sea venture made its arrival. The ship was laden with salted pork and other supplies for survival. The sea vendor sat upon her hull as the rainstorm ceased. The survivors heard a quiet sound of waters rushing on the reef. Still rocking back and forth, they heard chains howling sounds. Land ho! They shouted, a land we have found. In 1610, the Deliverance and Patience were built to carry some of the survivors to Jamestown, Virginia. As they were filled with hope in excitement and disbelief. Right before their eyes, the lost settlers came ashore to everyone's surprise. Returning to Bermuda was something Sir George Somers volunteered to do. A hero in the making, if only he could make it through. The weather beat him down again as he thought for all the people. Sir George Somers, exhausted from his labor, his hero heart went to meet his savior.
Come on, come back here now, because you guys are not responding. Let's hear a round of applause for St. David. Woo! Yes. And let's try that poetry thing again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, poetry. Yes. All right. Now we're at St. George's Prep. Who's ready? I went back there and they were going through the lines. So let's see how how they go. I'm really happy to be part of this event as well. Like we mentioned, Mayor Darrell mentioned, Poetry Day has been celebrated by UNESCO since 1999, and it's one thing, an art form that brings us together and helps to celebrate the human story. So I'm really excited about hearing about the sea adventure, hurricanes, and I haven't heard anything about oceans. I feel like that's all forgotten. Maybe I'll write. All right. Ready, St. George's Prep? Are you prepared?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, do I speak? No. We are P3 students from St. George's Prep reciting poems about sailing in the ocean. It was a dark, stormy night in the Atlantic Ocean. I was sailing when a fast wave went washing over me. I screamed, "Help!"
It was a dark, stormy night at sea in the Bermuda Ocean with ginormous waves, and I hold on tight. Water tipping my boat. Can't get out. Salt water up to my shoe. I was sailing my boat. I was sailing. It was a dark night at sea. It was a dark night at sea. I was sailing, then my boat tipped and rocked. Help me. It was a dark night. My tiny boat was against a gigantic, scary wave. The boat tipped and dropped. Help! Faster and faster and faster until it's massive. Wave flooding all of Bermuda, tossing me through the air. Help!
Good afternoon, everyone. We are P6 students at St. George's Prep, and we are going to recite a poem written by a Bermudian poet, Nancy Miller. This piece was taken from the website Tongues of the Ocean. We came across this poem approaching Bermuda.
Bermuda was founded in 1609 when the Sea Venture was driven onto her reefs.
I think of a woman wading in bunched skirt, held like a blown-out passenger airbag, as she eases feet into water, clear as any glass slipper.
What with the maiden voyage dashed, and reefs drooling ocean, hungry as a dragon, Sir George Somers needs a new move.
Sea Venture lies on rocks, one of many 7 masts, hulls like heaps of swords, shields from failed knights, approaching Bermuda tricky.
A ship shaped the eye of a needle must pass through thin turquoise threads, complex as any maze in hedged English gardens.
I think of a man rowing in oars lift sea, wings of a landing bird. Wigs bob in the tide like a flutter of jellyfish, and a London legislator holds words. Bits of straw in the pen's sharp beak, builds a new colony from scratch.
I think of a poet today following the story's path, starts out for a noon, but is taken very off, quick for run, finds the noon.
All right, come on, round of applause for St. George's Prep. Yes, all right. This has been a very, very informative and creative and wonderful celebration of poetry. So East End, St. George's Prep, St. David's Primary, Francis Patton, make some noise for yourselves. That should be the loudest. And for your teachers. I saw the conducting, I saw the nurturing, I saw all of it. So make some noise for your teachers. I'm sure they're nice to you all the time, right? Come on, you guys. Do I have to come closer to you? Are you going to ask me if you can see me? All right, you guys, make some noise for yourselves. All right. And keep the applause going for all the workers of the Corporation of St. George's who cleaned up this space here, set up all the chairs, put all these lovely flowers. All of this was like this morning. Again, big up, big up. Round of applause for J-Rock Communications, Spanish Town, Tammy, and also thank you again to Senator Darrell. Make some noise for your senator. And Mayor George Darrell III. All the noise, all the noise. All right, you guys, thank you so much for all your creativity, for the props, for coming, for bringing your energy. And thank you to parents and supporters for being here. It was a quick change of venue, but, you guys made it. And since, what's this, the 6th year that the St. George's Corporation has celebrated World Poetry Day. And, like we mentioned earlier, poetry is important for just celebrating culture, telling stories, and bringing us together, right? So make some noise for yourselves. When I say make some noise, cheer, stamp on the floor, clap, and continue making a lot of noise for in-person events again. Yes, I'm so happy to be able to see you guys because last year, like I said, this was an online event, which is still available on the website to see. And this is going to be as well, right? All right, so we're done, guys. So thank you so much for coming. Thanks again to the corporation for having me, Deidra from Chewstick. And those of you that might know a little bit about Chewstick, we haven't done any programs for a while, but we're bringing it back, and I'm inspired by all the kids here to write some poems and do some things. So make some noise for that. Yeah! All right. It's like, the third, I forgot the mayor part. Lovely to see you. Lovely